Hello, welcome to the Hotline Live with Record Sport. My name is Daniel Caw. As ever, I'm joined by the one and only Keith Jackson, and all
Good
the way
afternoon.
from Tannadice, Michael Gannon. Mick, how's it going?
Afternoon, chaps. How are we? Nice and,
Not bad,
nice and
Mick.
warm in the studio there.
It's roasty toasty in here, Mick, and I've got a nice wee cup of tea in the go as well. So yeah, perfect, mate. How are you? Cold?
I'm delighted for you boys. It's absolutely Baltic up here. It's January.
Tell you what, though, Mick. In fairness, that was a cracking game to watch.
It was, wasn't it? It was a really entertaining game. I thought both sides. Good credit to both of them. I thought it was a good 90 minutes. Obviously, Rangers, so many struggles away from home. It's their first away win since December the 8th. 5 in the bounce, but a win. All competitions. Much needed away win for Philip Clement. A really strong second half performance. Dundee United, I think, will feel there's maybe a chance gone. I thought for the first half an hour, I thought they were terrific. They probably been a goal up the least they deserved. I thought it could have been maybe one or two at the good. A couple of big chances. Sam Dalby causing mayhem at the back. Rangers not dealing with cross balls and corner kicks and long throws. It looked like it's headed for another real poor away day for Rangers at that point. They get the goal back out of the blue. I think the Diomande goal came out of nowhere, really. Great finish, came through the crowd. And it changed the whole momentum of the game. I thought second half Rangers were worthy winners. I thought they played well second half. And at the same time, United were still causing a problem, still a threat. Derby in particular, a real handful. I mean, the cat's at the bag with him now. He's top scorer in Scotland. He's a real threat. Obviously hit the post with the Raskin intervention. So they're still in the game. United right up to the third goal, which was a good finish from Cyril Dessers as well. So yeah, entertaining game. It could have went either way at times. Oh, it was a cracking finish, wasn't it? Absolutely belter.
He's incredible, isn't he? I mean, he genuinely is incredible. And we spoke about it, and we kind of, I'd mentioned a while ago, he really had to be taken out the firing line. Just, if anything, just to take a bit of the heat off him. Because he was, these errors were happening game after game, and it was the same old Cyril. And I think him coming out of the team and having that pressure taken off him has really helped him. He's come back, obviously gets himself into the starting 11 because of his goal at Old Trafford, but he looks all the better for it, doesn't he? And the finish at Old Trafford, that finish today, I mean, if that was to be the Cyril Dessers that Rangers get from now on, then, he's such a confusing guy because on that form, he looks like a proper number 9, a real striker.
Yeah, he's got such a great attitude. Really, we talk about the pressure on him. Like, what's it on him? I don't know if it even registers with Cyril Dessers. He always seems to be a blood. Oh, just does his own wee thing. I mean, it's good. When it's not so good, it's a bit wonky. He just seems to get on with it, doesn't he? I mean, he's got a big smile on his face. He'll miss the odd chance here and there. Obviously, there's quite open talk from his manager that he could be going. I don't know if that's freed him up slightly and he's a bit more relaxed in terms of front of goal. I don't know. It's a hard guy to fathom out because he looks world class at Old Trafford, and that finish the other night was absolutely spectacular. Pulling the ball to the sky and right foot in the bottom corner. One today again. The pass from Zach Lovelace wasn't that great. Had to adjust the angle and he just slams it at the top corner. It was a brilliant finish. He remains Scottish football's biggest enigma, isn't he?
That's what I've got to say. He's nothing if not an enigma, Mick. That's exactly right.
Aye. But the question is now, I mean, they're openly talking about selling him in this window. Do they sell him? Do they try and keep him? I mean, is he the long-term answer? Can he be relied upon in the long term? Big questions. It might be too far gone now to even answer them, but it's certainly an interesting one, isn't it?
Well, Keith, what would you do if you got offered $4 million tomorrow for Dessers? Do you think Rangers should take it?
Yeah, probably. Because he's not going to be the long-term answer. £4 million. I mean, this is what we'd need to argue about. If Rangers got offered $1.5 million, $2 million, do they take that, or do you just say no? Do you know what? Keep him. Let's look at the situation again in the summer. But right now, he's a guy that can weigh in and can contribute, whether it's first choice or second choice. He's worth having about. As I said, look, see if you were assured that this version of Cyril Dessers, the Old Trafford version, the Tannadice version, if that was going to be the guy. By the way, he's probably worth a starting place. but you just don't know. You just don't know what you're going to get next summer.
Right.
If £4 million come in for him, I think you'd probably think you have to take that, recoup as much of the money as you spent on him in the first place. But if it was half that sort of number, I think Rangers as well just keeping him on board. And as I said, kind of reevaluate things in the summer. But he is capable of some incredible moments. And his time at Rangers, even though there's been so many kind of frustrating moments from Dessers, it has been peppered by outrageous finishes and great goals and tremendous skills. His close control can be pretty exceptional at times as well.
I think that the last week, Keith, I think sums him up against Fraserburgh last week. I know it was offside in the end, but that mad chance that he missed in the first half, then going to Old Trafford and scoring goal of the season.
Yeah, but then he scores a hat-trick.
Of course.
In the same game. I mean, he's an incredible specimen, big Cyril.
A few comments, Mick, on Hamza Igaman as well. Igaman is a star, a joy to watch. Dessers, 41 goals in 18 months. He's absolutely mental. If he's going, we have to hold firm, get a good fee. Don't want to compare him to Kyogo because Kyogo's a better all-round player. But 10 million for him, and we've got fans who want to chase Dessers for a small fee when he's outscored them over the last 1.5 seasons. It is now 18 goals for Dessers this season, 22 last season, 6 goals in his last 4 games. I mean, if Rangers are to part with him this month, they better make sure they've got a good replacement.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, it's £4 million but guarantee you goals. And the problem is the kinds of goals. I mean, again, he scores a third goal today. The game's won. Fraserburgh, my break. I mean, he scores a lot of goals that aren't. He scores a lot of goals that the goal the other night at Old Trafford was an exception. There's a lot of late goals and a lot of goals when games are done. He needs to score goals when it matters. He scored goals in derby matches, in cup semi-finals, in cup finals, in European games that are in the balance. He needs big match-winning goals. And that's where That's where his problem has been. He scored a lot of goals in games that aren't match winners. He needs to be scoring goals that are crucial. And the big moment when you get 1 or 2 sniffs and you need to put it away. And that's where he's fallen down. And that's where the comparison with Kyogo falls down as well, because Kyogo has scored big goals in big moments. Yeah. 8 goals in derbies, 5 goals in cup finals, goals in cup semi-finals, goals in Europe, Champions League. That's the comparison. It's not the 18 goals in Scotland, I'm afraid, because that's what, if you're a striker for Celtic or Rangers playing week in, week out, you're going to score goals. I mean, I'm not being funny. If you stick me up front for Celtic Rangers now, I'll score 15 goals a season.
That's the fair
maybe not. But it's you have to be judged on the moments that matter, not the third and fourth goal in a 4-0 win, not the 3 goals against a team from the Highland League. It's the goals against Celtic and the goals in cup finals and semi-finals.
Has he got an Old Firm goal?
He's got a couple. I think he's got 2.
Yeah. Not in one. Not
a winner. And he scored in 3 each game.
Right.
Yeah.
And he also scored in Celtic's 2-1 win at the end of the season. So. Yeah.
These are the games that matter. They're popping up with a last-minute winner in these games. He fluffed too many big chances against Celtic last season and this season as well. So that's the difference. That's the big difference. Would you put the house on him if he's through and goal in a big match? And most Rangers fans would be shutting their eyes at that point in time because he's liable to put it at the top corner or the top of the stand. It can go either way.
Mick, the truth of the matter is, and this is why we're having the discussion, you'd put your house on him missing if he was clean through in a big moment in a big match. He'd take an extra touch. He'd try and chop inside. He'd overrun it. He'd go out for a bye kick. Yeah. That's been the story of Cyril Dessers. But when he just plays a little bit more off the cuff naturally, he looks to me now as if he's got a little bit more confidence about him. As if that's what I was saying earlier. I felt he was. I know what you said, Michael, that he's kind of Mr. Teflon. Everyone bounces off him. He doesn't seem to. But I thought his confidence looked shot to pieces early in the season. And I think by coming out of that situation, I think he does look fresher, he looks sharper. And, a couple of finishes the last couple of days have been, top class. But that looks to me like a guy who's not overthinking it. And usually that's his problem in the penalty box.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how this next week goes with him. I think it could be some movement in that one. It'd be interesting if he stays and he goes. So I want to keep an eye on it.
Before we move on from Dessers, Mick, you've been called out in the comment section. I want to give you the right of reply He's talking absolute nonsense, Michael Gannon. Dessler scored to get a draw
Like
against
usual.
Scored
Like usual, it says.
Like
this isn't just a one-off.
So
I mean, that's usual. That's not needed. Listen, they put out against Dynamo Kiev. He missed an absolute sitter against Olympiacos as well. I mean, that's you can't have it both ways.
Aye, I know. Well, the other big talking point, guys, of course, was what happened right at the end of the game. Nick Walsh sending off Mohamed Diomande. From talking off air, we've got kind of differing views on it. But Mick, how did you see it at the stadium?
Listen, it's a team one, but I think unfortunately in the modern game, it's probably a red card. If you raise your hands, even if you don't make contact, you're going to bother. What I would say is that if it hadn't been given, would VAR get involved? I doubt it, really. But listen, the referee, Kevin Clancy, was about 2 yards from it, and he could see what was unfolding in front of him, and he pulled his card out straight away. So he thought right away there's a wee hand getting swiped across the face. He didn't make contact, let's be honest.
But I don't think you can blame Kevin Clancy, Mick, seeing as how it was Nick Walsh.
Nick Walsh, sorry. Kevin Clancy was a good view. It's one of the two of them. One of our top operators, that's what it was. But he took a swipe right in front of the referee, and I think he's got the best view of it. I thought, well, he
swipe. I really would call that a swipe. A swipe.
Well, I mean, the rule book will say if you raise your hands, and especially if it's towards a face, you're going to get in trouble. It's I didn't think there was much in it. At the time, I didn't think there was anything in it. And you saw it again. Actually, when you see all the replays, you're looking at the kind of, is he kicked out? Is he lashed out? You don't even really see the hand go up. It's until you see it third or fourth view, you think, all right, did we kind of slap out, but not make contact. So I don't think there's much in it. But unfortunately, the rule books these days will suggest that's going to copy a red card. So, I mean...
that's a nonsense. By the way, it's never a red card. Never in a million years is it a red card. And VAR obviously feel the same. That's why they've called Nick Walsh over to look at it. They've said, you've got this wrong, effectively. And Nick Walsh has just decided that he knew better. So it's just never a red card.
You can just aim to slap folk in the face if you want. And if you don't make connection, you're all right.
I'd say I'm arguing that I'm not sure that he's tried. You're calling it a slap or a swipe. I'm not sure that Diomande's tried to make a connection. I think he's been pushed off balance and his arms come up. And if you know there was zero force, I mean, it'd be a pathetic effort of a slap, even if it did land. So for me.
So it's not if a slap's not a sore slap, then it's okay.
It's a tickle. He's getting sent off for a tickle. He's getting sent off for a tickle there.
This is not 1970s parenting here, Keith. You can't just be launching slaps about the place.
I tell you what, though, Daniel, you did speak to a resident referee before we came on air tonight, and he probably backs Michael, doesn't he?
He does. We spoke to Des Roach, the one and only Des Roach, who sadly couldn't join us because he has prior commitments, but he did point out that he thought it was a yellow card. He thought a yellow card for petulance. However, he did say that he thinks the odds of it being overturned are extremely slim. He says that the rule is attempting to strike or striking. And, you know, I kind of agree with you, Mick. I think it was an attempt to strike. I know it was very, very soft.
Wow.
But
wow, guys.
I don't think he's just fallen in his hand. I mean,
he's pushed in the chest. He's pushed in the chest.
It's very.
He's no way is he the aggressor in that scenario. I think it's crazy. And by the way, honestly, if that is a red card offence these days, you're looking at games finishing 7-aside. There's just nothing in that, and I can't believe that Nick Walsh, having the benefit of having a second look, having a guy in his ear saying, Nick, I think you might have been a bit hasty there. You might want to take another look at that. And he's stuck by it.
He's the best view, but he's only a yard or 2 yards away from it happening. So he could see and he can gauge. He heard the whoosh of the hand across his face.
The Tyson-like swing.
He saw that they heard the change in the atmospheric pressure of that swing across the bow.
I'm glad you're laughing, Mick. I think even you realise you're making a ridiculous argument.
Listen, listen, all I'm saying is that in the modern day rule book, whether I agree with it or not doesn't really matter. But in the terms of the modern day, and as Des was saying, that whether we like it or not, whether it's right or wrong, that's the kind of rule these days. If you raise your hands and try and swipe something in the coupon, you're going to get any bother. So it doesn't really matter if I think it's a laughing matter or not, because it's listen, these days that seems to be a red card. It's mind-boggling, isn't it? Really. But
Clement's already said that they're going to appeal it, hasn't he?
Yeah,
he said that in the after-match stuff.
But again, I don't see how they can be successful in appeal, because that's the argument, is we can't raise your hands and aim a swipe at somebody, regardless of the kind of force or malice. And I mean, I'm talking about 70s pair, and I get slapped far harder than that. That's for sure. I can tell you. That's how I can sit in this plastic chair not feeling my backside's like leather. But as I say, the way the rules are these days, it's a difficult one to overturn, that's for sure.
See, just going back to the game very quickly, a couple of comments. William Milligan here saying United were unlucky. 20 headers, 19 direct to Rangers players. They hit the post 3 times, Dundee United. Like you said earlier, mate, I think they were still quite unlucky not to get in out this game.
Yeah, actually, I think Rangers deserved the result. I thought the second half performance, they were pretty dominant. But I always thought United were a threat. And I still think there's a vulnerability about Rangers at the back. In particular, set pieces, corner kicks, long throws, balls in the box. They didn't look that convincing, especially the first half. It was panic station at times in the first half.
But United are so good at that, Mick, aren't they? That's United's strong suit. Balls into the box, throw bodies forward. I mean, they make it chaotic. And I think you're right. I think Rangers struggled with that.
They did. I mean, it's the old dealing with the physicality. I think Derby up top was a real menace, winning a lot of headers as well. So they're always in the game. United, I don't think they went. Second half, I thought they were outplayed, and Rangers were on top and could have been more comfortable towards the end. But United were always in it, right up to the third goal. I thought they were in it, and it was a good contest. United had a week. It's a disappointing week for them. Obviously, going out the cup to Dundee. And then this one as well, and maybe missing the chance to kind of make some ground up teams around them, dropping points again. But I think there's a lot to be optimistic about United. I think they're a good side, they're well organised, they're strong, physical, but they've got a threat. Guys coming back from injury, when you get Sibbalt and Dockett to come back into this team. I think they're in good nick, to be honest with
you. What did you make of Bayrami, Mick? Because I think he's kind of flattering to deceive a little bit. He looks as if he should be a real player for Rangers, but I don't know what he's offering. I thought down that left-hand side today, Rangers lacked. You can compare it to what Hadji was offering them on the right-hand side. Hadji was always in the game, always a threat, always trying to get at United. But Bayrami just sort of floats through 90 minutes these days. I don't know if Rangers are getting enough out of him.
I think for the money spent on him, I think they need to get more. I do agree with that one. I think they need to get a bit more out of him.
I think he's probably better in the more central area.
Well, that's the thing. He put in a more central role, and he was a bit more of an influence over kind of a wee period there. But he seems to have kind of slipped back into that kind of drifting into games. He had the odd wee moment, didn't he? But not creating enough in terms of that final third. I mean, listen, they missed Czerny today, didn't they? I mean, he's a big threat. It gives him that width. They didn't have that kind of width. It's not his kind of natural game either. So I do agree with that. I think they need a bit more from him. I think there's a player in there, but I think he does a lot of classy play at times. He just needs to be more dominant in games, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's only got 1 goal and 1 assist in the Premiership this season.
Not enough.
Yeah,
pretty much.
He's playing. He's been deployed in the sort of areas in that part of the pitch where you need to be a difference maker.
Yeah.
For me, he's not getting hold of the games. I look at, as I said, I keep coming back to Hadji. Look at Hadji, a constant menace today. Every time he got in the ball, he was looking to try and, whether it was a killer pass or a cross, or he's just looking to hurt people all the time. Whereas Bayrami, to me, sort of plays on the fringes, on the periphery of too many of these games. And Rangers can't afford to carry passengers. And in that final third, that is where there's been a vast improvement in Rangers recently. But you really need these players to be on the top of their game. So that would be a bit of a concern if I was Clement. That I'm not sure that Barami is contributing as much as the manager would probably hope from him.
Mick, it's been wonderful having you in the Hotline Live as ever. We really appreciate it. I know, obviously.
I see that the SFA. I was just going to say, guys, I see the SFA put a wee statement out about the red card, and basically saying that the referees in the future seen a deliberate swing of the arm towards the face of an opponent, which is not negligible and therefore constitutes violent conduct. So that's the SFA stance on the red card. That the referee saw it as a deliberate swing of the arm, and it was not negligible, therefore it's violent conduct. So, as I said, first time ever I'm agreeing with unless if you agree with me or vice versa, I don't know. But that's the reason why it's been given.
But see, if I was to look up negligible in the dictionary, I'd see a picture of that exact incident. There was nothing in it. That is negligible. It's absolutely negligible. Yeah, I don't know. Crazy. Listen, Mike, while you're still there, any word afterwards about Czerny and how long Rangers are looking at being without him?
Not at the moment, no. I don't think. I don't think it's a particularly long-term job. No, not at this point in time in terms of a time scale on him. But I don't think it's going to be particularly long-term. I mean, the good thing is that this week's game against USG. I mean, I know there's an outside chance Rangers can get to the kind of top 8, but I think they need about 7 results to go in their way. So I don't think it's a plausible kind of run of events. So they don't need to kind of push it this week. And obviously the next round comes thick and fast. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. Likewise, obviously Ridvan Yilmaz wasn't involved today. Ferocious rumours about him being away to Istanbul. Apparently that's nonsense. He trained over the weekend at Rangers. He took a knock. That's why he's not been here today. So that was shot down by Philip Clement as well. But either way, the next 7 days are going to be interesting in terms of the window, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I think Clement's saying that Yilmaz has an outside chance of playing. He's of all the guys that are carrying injuries at the minute, Yilmaz is probably, according to Clement, got the best chance of playing against the Belgians on Thursday night. So, and again, that doesn't kind of stand up the notion that Yilmaz is one of the guys that might be sold off before the window shuts next week.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, if we're talking about transfer windows, I think I'm almost lost for words on the job that Peter Lawwell and Michael Nicholson have managed to carry off at Celtic. It's almost incredible, isn't it? Sleight of hand involved in losing your talisman, your star striker, and yet somehow they're going to come out the other end of this window in a far better place than they went into it. It's astonishing.
It's a good trick selling a guy for 25 million and buying him back for about 8 or 9, 18 months later.
And still also being $2 million up the deal.
And making some money in a selling clause in between times. So, I mean, Celtic fans can look forward to Matt O'Reilly coming back next year for 3.5 million quid or something like that.
Mick, I'm telling you, I'm writing a column just now, and I'm going to say in it that the only thing that can happen to make this better window for Celtic would be Virgil van Dijk to come over all sentimental and say he wants to end his career in British football where he started it, and maybe for Henrik Larsson to come out of retirement.
Oh, why not?
Well, it seems to be the way, isn't it? I still think losing Kyogo is a major blow. I don't think the other fans will be dancing in the street and celebrating that losing Kyogo.
Yeah, but they're going to get another striker, Michael.
Yeah, that's the key, isn't it? It's the key is getting a replacement in the door. In the face of it, 10 million quid, the guy's just turned 30. He's probably going to need an injury, a shoulder surgery at some point in the next year, 18 months. He wanted to go, which is the major point.
That's a strange one as well, though, isn't it, Mick? It looked great. Well, actually, his body language latterly over the last few months, not what it once was. He didn't just seem. But I don't know what is it he's looking for. I mean, he's idolised. He's winning trophies. You know, you can't use he needs to leave to get into Japan's World Cup team.
He's not going to get
when the Tatty and Maida are playing at Celtic and they're in it. So I don't get it. I just find it weird that Kyogo has made an issue of this, has demanded to leave.
Especially
that's a surprise.
Remember he was like with Man City, weirdly, in the summer, in the last days. That I could understand someone going, you know, that's a big chance. But Rennes are in the relegation battle in France.
The relegation fight, yeah.
I don't think this is a football decision. I think this is a lifestyle decision and a financial decision. I don't think it's a football decision. I think speaking to folk around the club, I think he was maybe not quite enjoying life in Scotland as much after 3.5 years. I think he finds a change. I think he wasn't really digging it. Really, I mean, it's I don't know if it's Scottish weather had something to do with it either, but I just think he fancied something different. This is probably the last chance to get a big move, make a payday. I think it's a backward step going to Rennes from Celtic. When you think Champions League nights, challenging for trophies, going to Rennes, who are kind of bottom half of the French league. Yeah, it doesn't football wise. I don't think it's a contest really. So I think it's a lifestyle and a financial decision from him. I think he just wasn't particularly enjoying life away from the football side of things in Glasgow as much as he did at the start. And just fancy a change of scenery. That's the kind of vibe that I was getting from people around the club that maybe know him. He's not getting family here. It's not like when Diomande got his wife and his young kids up here. And I know that the Tannadice company. There's a long way for these guys to come from home, obviously, and he's not got the family here. So I think he's fancy a change of scenery. On the weather in that part of France isn't that great either. So I don't know if he's going to go for the weather.
No, it's not.
Mick, thank you as ever for joining us on Hotline Live. We really appreciate it. You've certainly increased your appearance fees this week. We'll speak to your agent about new terms.
I don't know about throwing arms, but are we getting started about this week? I think that's how I feel like. I feel like around the end of a Diomande haymaker.
We're going to have to get the sports scientist to take a good look at you, Mick. I think your numbers are getting crunched.
I definitely need rested. That's definitely true. It's re-rotated.
Taking out the firing line.
Big Cyril Gannon.
Yeah, definitely. I spell out the firing line.
Well, Mick, thanks very much as ever, and safe travels up the road.
Down the road.
Chaps,
down the road. Sorry.
Down the road.
Cheers,
boys.
See you, Mick.
Bye. Michael Gannon there, all the way from Tannadice. Plenty of comments coming in, Keith, and I thought this one is probably the best segue. Let me have a look if I can find it. Some are comparing the time under Robson to a time under Thelin. Thelin is light years ahead, in my opinion, but admittedly, the run is becoming torture. Now, that, of course, Keith, is in relation to Jimmy Thelin in Aberdeen.
Random that you've just thrown that one in, but yes, I'll run with it.
3-0 beaten at home against St Mirren yesterday. 13 matches in the Premiership without a win.
It's horrible, isn't it?
I don't know what to say about Aberdeen anymore.
It's really, really horrible. And you know, they've got a chairman there that obviously was delighted to get Jimmy Thelin. But I wonder now with Dave Caw, is he going to dig his heels in? He's certainly thrown the kitchen sink at it again in January by backing him financially in the transfer market. But as I keep saying, had Jimmy Thelin started his Aberdeen tenure like this, if you took away the first 11 games, and this was it, this was how I think there'd be serious doubts by now about whether or not he's going to see out the season. I think Dave Caw will cling on in the hope that it turns around, and it's possibly the right thing to do, because the way that Jimmy Thelin started, I loved the way that he talked about what he wanted to see from his Aberdeen side: aggressive, front foot, all the things that you kind of looking for, and it really lit a fire around Pittodrie at the start of the season, and fans were swarming back, and just everything felt good. But this is now actually horrendous.
Yeah,
this run that Aberdeen are on is horrendous. And it shows no signs of turning around. He's brought in new players. That hasn't made any difference to the results. That result at home at St Mirren mean, that's a bit of a walloping they've just taken. And I think, from what I heard, the fans were starting to turn on that. I think that's the first time. And that could get tricky. Jimmy Thelin needs to start getting results, and he needs to start picking it up, because let's be blunt about it. This is relegation form. Had it not been for the incredible start that Aberdeen made, 31 points at the first 33, they'd be right in the middle of a battle at the bottom.
That's the thing, isn't it? You look at the table; they're actually fourth. And if you'd said in the summer, by this point, Thelin will have them fourth, you go, do you know what? That's fair enough. They're probably ahead of schedule. But like, how long does it go on? I mean, winning 16, 17 games. I mean, like you say, he needs to arrest this slump. Well, yesterday, really.
Yeah, and you're probably looking at the Scottish Cup game, and you're thinking, well, there you go. I know it's Elgin. It's not exactly it's not exactly a top level tie, is it? But you just thought, well, just get a win. Just get a win and then try and get a bit of momentum back. But, you know, that hasn't worked either. So, yeah, I'm really concerned now for Jimmy Thelin, because no matter what he does, it's not, he's not getting a result. He's not getting a tune out of this team. And if they continue on this pathway between now and the end of the season, it's just going to be a miserable campaign.
What's your gut feeling, Keith? How do you think it will turn out?
My gut feeling is that Dave Cormack's going to stick with him anyway, so I don't think he's under threat. But I think his relationship with the Aberdeen fans is at risk. They didn't like what they saw at the weekend, and I think they're beginning to run out of patience. They can't go on suffering this indefinitely. Aberdeen should be more than adequately equipped to fight for third place. They should be in third place.
Yeah.
And they should have it nailed down. But they've dropped off a cliff, haven't they? And it just now depends on how much further they're going to fall. Because they could drop through this league very, very quickly. We talked previously, just a few weeks ago, about how concertina different was in the middle of the league, from very little points between 6-7 clubs. So Aberdeen, the momentum from what they did at the start of the season has kept them up there. Mm-hmm. But they could start really dropping down through the ranks here very, very quickly. Because there's not much in it.
There's only 5 points between Kilmarnock and the relegation playoff spot and the top 6. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's nothing really in it.
Yeah, if Aberdeen start to drop down, then very quickly they could find themselves, and I'm not saying they're going to be troubled by relegation. I don't believe that to be the case. But I'm not guaranteed. I don't feel there's a guarantee that they're going to finish in the top 6.
Which would be mad.
Well, it is incredible. And the results, the trajectory they're on, does suggest that they're going to get sucked down into the bottom 6, and then you wonder where they go from there.
Yeah,
because there really isn't anything in it. Do you expect Kilmarnock to be staying in that position between now and the end of the season? I definitely don't. I think they will hit a run, a form at some point, and they'll get themselves out of bother and close to the top 6, maybe in the top 6. But you could see Aberdeen going in the opposite direction, and that's got to be a concern.
Just very finally, before we finish, Keith, St Johnstone as well. They got a really good win yesterday against Motherwell. And I just wanted to bring this up because I was really surprised. I know social media isn't the be-all and end-all by any means, but the vociferous reaction that Stuart Kettlewell was getting yesterday after that defeat, it was really, really bad. The Motherwell fans just aren't having him anymore, it seems, anyway, on social media, despite being 5th in the league, despite Cup semi-finalists. I don't know.
I don't think he helped himself there at the weekend, did he? No. Or before the weekend, when he was talking about how dedicated he is to his job and the long hours that he does, and saying that he means that he finds criticism from people who don't understand or aren't. It's the old one. If you're not a manager, then how can you criticise a manager?
Yeah.
But I thought it was bound to get a bad reaction from the Motherwell fans, because there are Motherwell fans that will argue that they're every bit as dedicated to supporting their club, if not more so, than Stuart Kettlewell is dedicated to his position as manager.
Yeah.
They follow the club all over Scotland, and they follow them into Europe if they get there. And these guys are, they will argue that they make sacrifices more than Stuart Kettlewell does in order to be a Motherwell supporter. So picking a fight with the fans is never a smart idea. And I feel that he's done that in a bad moment because he's a little bit vulnerable. They're not happy with the style of football. I think they'll get over that quickly enough if results turn around. But getting turned over twice by St Johnstone in the space of a week, it's not particularly clever. I don't think that drags St Johnstone out of the mire. I think it'll be a long season for Simo Valakari, and I'm struggling to see any way out of it, really.
Still 7 points behind Kelly.
Yeah,
So,
and as I said, Kilmarnock, you think they'll turn on the afterburners at some point and get themselves up and away from there.
you think so?
So yeah, long, difficult season ahead for St Johnstone. But for Stuart Kettlewell, and I've said it, for me, the job that he's doing there is terrific. He's really impressed in terms of what he's managed to get out of that squad. But I'm not paying my money every week to go and watch them, like the Motherwell fans are, and clearly they're not they're not enjoying what they're seeing. I'll defer to them on that, but on the face of it, from a distance, you look at it and you think, as you said, 5th place, on course to finish top 6, get involved in the argument for Europe. It's you kind of wonder sometimes what fans are looking for, what it is that they're expecting from their team. But I guess that the Motherwell fans will argue that they just want to watch a side that's entertaining, and they don't feel that Stuart Kettlewell's Motherwell right now are a good watch, a fun watch, enjoyable watch. So you know what? They're the guys that pay their money. They've certainly got a right to express their opinion. But you would hate to. I would hate anyway, because I think he's done a really good job. I would hate for this to end badly, for it to become, a sort of position where the fans aren't tolerating him, and that he's chipping back at them. I think, I'd like to think Motherwell can get away from that, because there's a danger that it turns toxic, and it feels unnecessary. If you know what I mean, you're looking at the circumstances, think, well, what's going on here?
Aye.
So hopefully there's a resolution, and Stuart Kettlewell over the period has his side playing fits and bursts almost, and they come on to form. So you're looking at Motherwell. I think they always give teams a game at Fir Park. I don't find them a dull watch, but as I said, I defer to the Motherwell fans because these guys are paying week in, week out to watch it. And there's obviously something that they're not very fond of.
I think the perfect way to finish, Keith. Michael has left a comment saying, "I'm glad Michael Gannon is not a referee." Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
What is Michael Gannon? What does he do?
Gymnast extraordinaire.
Will Ferrell impersonator.
Look, I think that brings us to the end of Sunday's Hotline Live with Record Sport. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks again for getting involved in the comment section. We really appreciate it. And we'll be back to do it all again tomorrow. Keith, thanks for joining me as ever.
Yes, no problem at all. I'll see you tomorrow, Daniel.
And thanks for watching at home. Cheers.